Your dog isn't just acting different. They're feeling something you haven't noticed yet. At first, it's so small you almost ignore it. A missed glance, a delayed response, a moment where they choose distance instead of closeness. And you tell yourself, it's nothing. But it's not nothing. Because when your dog starts pulling away emotionally, they don't do it all at once. They do it quietly, in ways most people never recognize. And what it means when those small behaviors start to repeat is something you should never ignore. It begins with eye contact. Your dog used to look at you without hesitation. Not just quick glances, but deep, steady eye contact. The kind that feels like they're trying to understand you, or maybe connect with you. But now something feels off. They look away faster. They avoid holding your gaze. Sometimes they don't look at you at all. Most people think this just means their dog is distracted, but that's not the real reason. Eye contact for dogs is emotional communication. It's how they check in with you. It's how they feel safe. When that connection weakens, they stop looking, not because they don't care, but because they're unsure of what they'll find when they do. And here's where it becomes more emotional. You start calling their name, and the response isn't the same. There was a time when your voice meant everything to them. The moment you spoke, their ears lifted, their body turned, their attention locked onto you. Now, there's a pause. Sometimes they respond slowly. Sometimes they don't respond at all. Not because they didn't hear you, but because something inside them hesitates. Most people completely miss this. They think their dog is being stubborn or distracted, but what's really happening is deeper than that. And when that emotional clarity fades, when your tone changes, your presence feels different, or your attention becomes inconsistent, they begin to disconnect in small ways. Not out of defiance, but out of confusion. And that confusion leads to something even quieter. They start choosing space. You'll notice it in the way they sit across the room instead of next to you. The way they settle just far enough to be near, but not close. At first, it doesn't seem important. But physical distance for a dog is never random. Dogs are naturally drawn to closeness with the person they trust most. So when they begin to create space, it's not because they suddenly prefer being alone. It's because something about closeness doesn't feel the same anymore. But that's not the part that should concern you the most. Because the real shift happens in their energy around you. There was a time when your presence changed everything for them. When you walked into the room, they reacted instantly. Their body came alive. Their tail moved without thinking. Now, it's more subtle. They still notice you. They still care. But the intensity is gone. And that loss of intensity isn't about excitement. It's about emotional security. When a dog feels deeply connected to you, they don't just react to your presence. They feel anchored by it. It grounds them. It reassures them. So when that reaction fades, it means that feeling is fading too. And here's where it becomes something most people never expect. Your dog may start seeking comfort somewhere else. It might be another person, another spot in the house, even just a quiet corner where they feel more at ease. Not because they love you less, but because they're trying to regulate something emotionally that used to come naturally through you. That's the part that's hardest to accept, because from your perspective, nothing major has changed. You still care. You still see them every day. But from your dog's perspective, something has shifted. Maybe it's your attention. Maybe it's your routine. Maybe it's the way you interact without realizing it. Dogs don't understand your intentions. They understand your consistency. And when that consistency changes, even slightly, they feel it. But here's the deeper truth most people never realize. Disconnection doesn't happen because of one big moment. It happens through small, repeated signals. Moments when you're physically present but emotionally unavailable. Times when your attention is divided. Subtle changes in tone, energy, or routine that seem insignificant to you, but mean everything to them. And over time, your dog adapts. They stop expecting the same connection. They stop reaching in the same way. Not because they don't want it, but because they're no longer sure it's there. And this is where it becomes something you should never ignore. Because when your dog fully disconnects, they don't show it loudly. They don't act out. They simply become quieter, more distant, more independent. And most people see that as maturity, but it's not. It's emotional withdrawal. And once it reaches that point, rebuilding that connection becomes harder than maintaining it ever was. But the most powerful sign of all is the one that feels the smallest. It's when your dog stops trying, stops checking on you, stops initiating those little moments of connection that used to happen naturally. That's not independence. That's acceptance. Acceptance that the bond they once relied on doesn't feel the same anymore. And if you notice that happening, it's not random. It's a signal. A quiet, emotional signal that something between you has changed. The kind of signal that doesn't demand attention, but deserves it more than anything. Because to your dog, connection isn't optional. It's everything. It's how they understand their place in your life. It's how they feel safe. It's how they love you. And when that connection weakens, they don't stop loving you. They just stop expressing it the same way. So if you've noticed these small changes, the distance, the silence, the hesitation, don't ignore them. Because to your dog, you're not just part of their world. You are their world. And when that world starts to feel uncertain, they don't know how to tell you. They just hope somehow you'll notice.